Dear friends, welcome to a new video where we're going to talk to you a bit about van life, what goes on behind the scenes, and the things you need to know if you decide to make it your lifestyle. Today we're going to talk about expenses, costs, and the maintenance costs of a converted van or a converted camper van. Why am I going to talk to you about this? Why? Because yes, during our 2 years, we actually ran into quite a bit of trouble, several issues. We had several problems. And could it have been avoided? I don't know. But in any case, I have to admit that when your clutch breaks down in the middle of Spain at the end of January on the highway, and you end up spending the night in the camper van at 4 degrees Celsius with little water and little gas because you thought, well, it's fine, we'll travel light, since we had Portugal in mind as our next stop. Here, I'll show you the video just in case. You'll see it's pure joy. Well, it's a bit of a hassle. We had to pay 1,500 euros in repair costs twice. And that's that. So that's why today we're going to talk about the cost of maintaining a camper van. Because yes, a camper van is your little house on wheels. And if you don't take care of it, you're going to have a problem. When you're living in a regular house, if your car breaks down, you can still stay at home. And then if something happens to your house, well, it's usually big enough that you can still stay inside. You know, you're not. No, with a camper van, if you have a problem and your camper is in the shop, you have to stay in a hotel, and that can get very, very expensive very quickly. For us personally, the cost of maintaining the camper van has ranged between 1,300 and 1,500 euros per year. So that's about 100 to 150 euros per month, averaged out over the year. For me, in addition to the loan repayment, which is about 150 euros, we ended up with around 300 euros in camper van expenses, not counting insurance, which we'll probably talk about in another video. What does camper van maintenance involve? Well, it involves mechanical maintenance. And yes, without an engine, you can't drive. And mechanical problems can definitely happen. So for us, we had between 200 and 600 euros in annual engine maintenance. It's like a car, but as you can imagine, you have the filters, the brake pads, and so on. It's all about mechanical maintenance, the whole mechanical system. The clutch, of course, the shock absorbers, the starter battery knot, the leaving area, battery the belts, the oil levels. I know that we even had to change the engine radiator. Already, when we bought it, it was a bit, all the fins were a little bent. So we changed that too. The advantage of traveling by van is that you can go to a country where repairs and labor aren't too expensive, so you can get repairs done. For us, I know we have a very friendly mechanic in Portugal, and we took advantage of that to get repairs done at his place every time. It's a Red Turbo in Faro. What's his name? I can't remember. I was going to say Eduardo, but no, I don't think so. What's his name? Ricardo. Ricardo from Red Turbo in Faro, next to the Repsol station or next to the train station. This is where we did our revisions every time we went down to Portugal each year. Tire maintenance, it's the same thing that also needs to be checked. They need to be changed on average every 50,000 kilometers. On a motorhome, when you start driving and touring around Europe, that adds up pretty quickly. In fact, for those who have traveled all around Europe, you might need to do it even more often. So I know we have a spare tire at the back. Same thing, you should expect to pay between 120 euros per tire and 220 euros. I know I changed the 2 rear tires very recently and it cost me 300 bucks. I'm pretty happy because it was vibrating so much that we thought it was a shock absorber or even the axle. It turns out it was just a flat tire. And that was really, really good news. I thought it was going to cost me a lot more. So there you go. Tires are very important. They give you good contact with the road. They also help you save, yes, on fuel, depending on the tires you have. It's without realizing it, that's what the camper van relies on. So tires are important. The technical inspection. And yes, that too, it's every 2 years, starting from the 4th year. That also costs between 40 and 70 euros. That's, well, you'll be required to, so go back to France each time, you know, to get it done. It's done very quickly, and even our half still passes the technical inspection with flying colors. maintenance of everything electrical. For us, I know that, well, it's old, you know, with new ones, that wouldn't be the case, but sometimes we had to redo, replace some small wires for yeah, we had the turn signals, the rear lights that wouldn't turn on, that wouldn't work when braking. So all of that too, you know, it just takes a little bit of water and, well, it oxidizes. Same thing, you know, you also have a lot of electrical wiring inside. I think I'm going to have to tackle it again. I have a sort of, I don't know, under the, in the bathroom, I have the spot where pretty much all the water pipes come in. And well, I think I'm going to have to redo that part as well. Electrical maintenance. That's something to keep in mind too. It's still secondary, let's say, but it's a type of maintenance you have to consider. Same thing in a camper van, maybe not the newer ones, because now with solar panels you can do without gas. But for ours, well, it's the same. We have gas, so you have to check your installation every 5 years. And unless you get rid of it, it's going to cost you between 50 and 100 euros each time you have to have it done. On top of the technical costs, let's say, there's also the cost of interior maintenance. I know that we redid, well, to improve things, you know how it is. We changed the curtains, we changed the covers on the benches, we changed the sheets. Changed the sheets? No? Well, we changed a lot of curtains, we repainted, we upgraded the camper van and all that. Every year, by making improvements, you can count on spending between 200 and 300 euros a year on upgrades for the camper van, for, you know, to feel better inside, because when it's your home, you want to feel good in it. So that's roughly the cost to expect. The maintenance of the water tanks, same thing, you have to take care of that too. That costs about 30 to 50 euros. There are products you can use, and you can also scrub them by hand if you manage, plus the cleaning product. And there you go, if you don't want to have algae everywhere in your pipes. Same goes for the chemical toilets. Those also need to be maintained with products and all that. So all of that is an expense you need to plan for. So I know that owning the article that's in the description, which covers a bit of what's mentioned in this video, I have a summary table of the maintenance costs for a converted vehicle, which can amount to an estimated annual cost of between 1,000 and 2,500 euros per year, including mechanical maintenance, tires, technical inspections, maintenance of the tanks, batteries, gas systems, and waterproofing checks. There you go. So how can you optimize this cost? Well, it's very simple. You know, if you're handy, you can do it yourself. That's useful. If you're good at it, you can do it yourself. I know that when it comes to mechanics, I'm totally useless, so that's not going to happen for me. You can pull things together. You can also take advantage of it to try to get everything done at the same time when you go to the mechanic. You'll get a bigger bill, but it might last a bit longer that way. And prevention is key. Above all, prevention is really important. You know, you shouldn't cut corners. Once again, it's your home. Another thing, a little tip from me: if you schedule your maintenance during the off-peak periods, in other words, if you go to another country and do it in winter, since you need to stay nearby, the cost of rentals or Airbnbs will be much, much, much lower. So we were lucky enough to have our clutch break right in the middle of winter. If that had happened in the summer, it would have cost us a lot more, because we would have had to find accommodation at a time when it's insanely expensive. So the advantage is that if you ever have to do it, if you do it in winter, you'll be able to rent at a much lower cost. We were even able to rent, I think sometimes an Airbnb for 25 euros, because if you booked at the last minute, people just wanted to fill their places. It meant we had to move around quite often, but on the plus side, it let us check out different apartments, and sometimes we managed to get by with just 25 euros a night. So in the article, you'll also find the difference between the maintenance cost of a nomadic life and a sedentary life, between a house and a car, and then on the other side, this and that. You'll see that in the end, you can save 50% in expenses, you know, when you live the van life, believe it or not. So yeah, life will still cost you a lot less in van life, even though it's getting more and more expensive, because there's less and less freedom. We'll talk about that in an upcoming video, the one about freedom in van life. Let's go, and I'll say goodbye for now. See you soon.